Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel where we discuss research and everything about research. If you're watching for the first time, welcome. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Today we'll be looking at hypothesis formulation and testing. I want you to sit back, relax, and take in everything that will be said in this video. And at the end of this video, if you have any question, don't hesitate to put it in the chat box. I'll be there answering your question. What is hypothesis? When we say hypothesis simply means a tentative statement that establishes a relationship between two or more variables. Now, I have a video explaining what variables are. You could do well to refer to that video to understand it if you haven't watched it. Now, hypothesis is a testable statement guiding scientific inquiry. Now, when we say something is testable statement, it means that it is yet to be tested. It is in the process of the research that we would test it, but we have already given or formulated our hypothesis before we test it. So after testing our hypothesis, it is either we accept the hypothesis or we reject the hypothesis. It provides a foundation for scientific inquiries. It serves as a guiding framework for research, directing data collection, analysis, and also our interpretations. The process of hypothesis formulation is a very critical aspect in research in design. And then if you ask me, hypothesis ensures and enhances validity and reliability of any research finding. And it does that by offering a clear statement that can be empirically tested. Let's go forward. How do we formulate hypotheses? Now, the first step is to identify your research problem. What exactly does your research seeks to answer? What solution are we looking for with your research? After identifying your research problem, create a good literature review. Define your variable, whether independent variable or dependent variable. In the video about the variable, I explained what dependent variable means and independent variable is. Number 4, formulate a clear and testable hypothesis. Let's look at how we can create a clear and testable hypothesis. Before we go there, let's look at the types of hypotheses that we have. We have the null hypothesis, which is usually written as HO. The null hypothesis states that there is no significant relationship between the two variables under investigation. It serves as the default assumption that researchers seek to reject. So let's say that our research topic is the effect of AI in digital marketing. Now, what will be my HO? My HO will be that there is no significant relationship between AI and digital marketing. I hope you understand that. Let me move on so that you will get a better clarification. Let's check, what does alternative hypothesis mean, or what we refer to as H1. Alternative hypothesis asserts that there is a significant relationship between the variables under investigation. As null hypothesis is rejecting or saying that there is no significant relationship, alternative hypothesis says that there is a significant relationship. So in the instance of the example I gave earlier, The alternate hypothesis will say that there is a significant relationship between AI and digital marketing. The next type of hypothesis is directional hypothesis. This specifies the expected direction of the relationship between the variable. For instance, let me explain that in details. An increase in parental supervision reduces adolescent sexual exploitation. You will see that this hypothesis is already telling us the way to look, right? An increase in parental supervision reduces adolescent sexual exploitation. Now, in directional hypothesis, it is neither telling us if there is a significant relationship or not. It is just telling us that one variable has a direct effect on the other variable, and then it's telling us the direction in which our research is going. Now, let's look at the next type, non-directional hypothesis. It predicts a relationship between variables without specifying the direction. For instance, there is a relationship between parental supervision and adolescent sexual exploitation. Can you see the difference between the two? The two is telling us, directional is telling us that if there is an increase in parental supervision, there will be a reduction in adolescent sexual exploitation. You see the direction. But non-direction now is telling us that there is a relationship between, whether it increases or decreases, we don't know, but there is a relationship. So the increase in one may lead to the decrease in the other, or vice versa. That is non-directional hypothesis. Then statistical hypothesis. It is formulated in terms of statistical parameters and tested using quantitative method. Now let's move on. How do we test our hypothesis? When you have defined your HO, your null hypothesis, which is AO, and your alternate hypothesis, which is AA, the next thing is to select a significance level. I have made a video where I explained what significance level is. You could do well to refer to that video. Next thing is to choose a statistical test. What method or what statistical test do you want to use? As we go on in this video, I'm going to explain the various statistical tests that we can use in testing a hypothesis. Now, you collect your data, compute your test statistically, compare with critical value or a p-value. And we know that when our p-value is less than 0.05, we accept our alternate hypothesis. But if it is higher, we reject and we accept our null hypothesis. Then you draw your conclusion. What are the tests that we could use in testing our hypothesis, in hypothesis testing? Number one is student t-test. This will help us compare mean between two groups. We can use our chi-square test categorically variable relationship. We use it to test our categorical variable relationship. We can also use ANOVA. ANOVA is used to compare means across multiple groups, unlike student t-test that compares mean between just two groups. ANOVA will compare mean among multiple groups. Then we can use our regression analysis. We know the different types of regression. If you don't, refer to my video where I explain regression. Now, it explains the relationship between our variables. Now, we have common errors in hypothesis testing. We have the type 1 error, that is false positive. You are rejecting, if it's a type 1 error, you are rejecting a true alternate null hypothesis when it's type 1 error, you're rejecting a true null hypothesis, which is your HO. If it's type 2 error, false negative, you are failing to reject a false null hypothesis. In conclusion, hypothesis formulation and testing ensure structured and data-driven research. Proper hypothesis development and rigorous testing leads to a reliable scientific finding. I hope that this video has been helpful to you. Do like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Bye bye.